What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 28 of the Pixel Street podcast, where each and every week we get together and talk about one of the things we love most, video games. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and I'm joined by John Hansen. What's going on, John?
Not much. I'm really drugged up, and I'm trying my best to stay awake.
What, are you sick?
No, it's I got back on some medicine that I hadn't been on in a bit, so my body's not used to it again.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
This week we're going to be discussing a new PlayStation VR price, which is pretty low considering what it was when it first came out. Monster Hunter coming to Switch. It's not actually coming, but there's been some talks within the company about it, and whether or not loot boxes are considered gambling. As always, you can get our podcast on most podcast platforms on Monday mornings, as well as on YouTube, where you can watch us record the show live on Thursday nights, like you could be right now, at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do want to note that the podcast from last week is not up. I don't know what happened to it, but I definitely uploaded it, and I checked iTunes today, and it wasn't on there, so I got to double check what's going on.
Okay.
So let's get into some of the new releases coming out in the next week. You want to start? Go ahead and start,
right.
John.
Tomorrow, February 16th, we have Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming to the Switch. Fee. I still don't know how you're supposed to say it.
I think you're supposed to say it Fee.
Fee? Okay. That's coming to the Switch, PC, and PS4. And Joe Dever's Lone Wolf coming to Switch.
Okay. I think it's worth noting that all the games on here are coming to a Nintendo platform except for one, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Switch is really taken over, like in terms of number of releases coming out. Whether they're good or bad, that's up to people to decide. But I mean, Bayonetta 1 and 2, I know people love those games. I've never played either of them though. Have you?
I started playing the first one and it just wasn't for me. It didn't really grab me, but I can see why people that are into that kind of game would like it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm considering picking up Bayonetta 1 and 2 just because I've never played them. And the fact that they're both together for, I think it's like $50, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad deal. And being able to play it portably is always nice. A nice touch.
I mean, that's the ultimate selling point of any Switch game.
Yes, it is.
On February 20th, we have Puzzle Peppers and Old Man's Journey for the Switch.
That's Puzzle Puppers.
Oh.
Puzzle Puppers, like as in puppies, like dogs.
Yep. I have no idea what that is. Was it Tetris with dogs falling down?
I have no idea. So are you essentially murdering dogs in Tetris form?
You're just wiping them from existence.
Yeah, I guess so.
The next day, Layers of Fear Legacy is coming to Switch. I Hope is coming to PC. And on February 22nd, we have Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Plus for Switch, Typo Man for Switch, and SteamWorld Dig 2 for the 3DS.
3DS eShop, I think that's what the E stands for, is that it's coming to the eShop, not physical.
Okay.
But SteamWorld Dig 2, that's already out on Switch, right?
I think so. That's the one that's pretty popular, isn't it?
Yeah, because I know I have a code for SteamWorld Dig 1, which I've been playing a little bit of to review. But I don't know how, like obviously one's a sequel to the other, but I don't know how the stories are related. But I mean, I'm sure I'll check it out because I'm liking the first one, what I've played so far.
All right. Yeah, I've never touched it personally.
And in terms of Pac-Man, I feel like this game comes out every 6 months for a different console. The Championship Edition.
It's Pac-Man. You can't really... They've tried making new games with them. It doesn't work, so they just have to keep releasing the same thing.
Yeah, I guess that's just the way of the road. Up next is something we started last week. So every time there's a new backwards compatible game for Xbox One, I think we should go ahead and state it. And since last week, when you said Splinter Cell Conviction was backwards compatible, there's been a new game added as of February 13th, which is 2 days ago. They added Prey and Mafia 2. to the backwards compatibility list for Xbox One, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, that's still by far one of the coolest features that have been added this generation, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, other than I think Game Pass is bigger. Just the fact that you can get all the new games the day they're released for $10 a month. But I mean, backwards compatibility is a huge step forward for Microsoft.
Well, it's backwards compatibility is huge because you don't have to rebuy the game. If you have the old disc, you can still use it and play it for essentially
Yeah,
free, even though you bought it in the past.
exactly. Same thing with the digital ones you own as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, PlayStation 4 doesn't have it. I mean, you can download PS2 games on it, but it's again, you have to rebuy them. It's not like
Yeah,
Xbox, and they're starting to bring out the original Xbox games as well.
yeah. Another thing that amazes me is that you still cannot change your name on PSN, which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Like I don't understand how they have not come out. I like there's been rumors in the past like for like the past 5 years that oh this is the year, this is the year, and still nothing, no mention of it at all by Sony. But I mean, like I would love to change my name on PSN because my current PSN name is AskBelonker69, which is a terrible name.
mhm.
And I remember because I made it thinking like, oh, I'll be able to change this because I was always an Xbox gamer. So I was like, all right, let's just make something stupid. I can change it if I change my mind later. And nope, still stuck with it. And it's a good thing I don't play my PlayStation as much, especially competitively online, like multiplayer, because that account would probably get banned if somebody reported it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just use my name I use on everything is just Revex Shadows. But yeah, I know that's something people have been complaining about for a long time.
Well, the thing for me is I tried the one I use, Campo63, for everything, but it was already taken at the time.
Yeah,
I'm kind of out of luck.
say what you want about the Xbox One and the PS4, like figure wise. I've always felt that Microsoft has a better customer experience for their online services with Live as opposed to PSN, just because of the backwards compatibility. And I personally like Xbox Live better. But
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel the same exact way. I just feel like Xbox Live is much more stable of a service than PSN is. Like the past month alone, it's been down for like 2 weekends, I believe. Like a
yeah,
whole weekend just gone because their servers are
yeah.
down.
What you been playing this week, Joel?
So I played a little bit of PUBG on PC because since the last, I think we recorded on Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Sunday, but because we recorded late last week, I've been out of town for work the past 3 days. So I played some PUBG on my work laptop, which surprisingly my work laptop's really nice because it's brand new. So I can run it. It was running it in 4K at first, but I did not want to try and I didn't want to try and push the limits with that. You know what I mean? So I dumbed it down to 1080p just because I don't know. I don't want to break my work laptop by playing a video game on it because the fan was kind of struggling a bit there.
Yeah, pretty much everything struggles to run PUBG at the moment. It doesn't really matter what it is.
Well, I mean, on PC, the game, if you played it on PC, you would be pretty amazed, I think,
I don't think
because
so.
it is, dude, you have no idea how optimized the game is on PC. It's so much better than Xbox. It's not even funny, especially because you have a gaming computer now.
Well,
You would
I
run
would
it
hope
so
so.
well.
I
I
mean, it's
should. You know what?
been
You know
out
what I'm
for
gonna do?
months.
I'm gonna give you my Steam login, just so you can download that game and play one match, so
All
that
right.
next week you can give me your thoughts on it.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do that for real.
Okay.
So yeah, what about you? You've been playing Overwatch still?
Yep. Year of the Dog has been going on. It's an art event. And it's got some cosmetics in it. And like we were saying last week, it had a few other updates. Some updates that they accidentally put through too early with hero changes that they've rolled back on now. But I mean, they brought Capture the Flag back and they gave it a competitive mode, and I still don't care for it, but it's all right. I mean, I still love the main game of Overwatch, so I'm probably always going to be playing that.
Yeah, that's
Besides
that game's definitely your rock.
oh yeah, it has been ever since it came out. Besides that, I have gone back and played some Super Mario Odyssey. I was taking a break from it because I'd beaten the game and I'd gotten a bunch of moons, and I decided that I was gonna just call it quits, focus on other games. But I just happened to pick it up again one night. I was like, okay, I'll just go around looking for moons, and I'm addicted again. I'm not even on a new save or anything. I'm just exploring the worlds, catching all these hundreds and hundreds of moons that I didn't catch before. I'm like right under 500 right now. That game is just put together so well. It's amazing. But
Yeah,
I still believe that Breath of the Wild is the better game.
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey is definitely another one of the games this year that got away from me. I never played it. I played, like the intro little world that they have with the T-Rex, and then I stopped. Oh, sorry. But yeah, I definitely got to get back and play Super Mario Odyssey. And I'm at the end of Zelda. I just can't bring myself to finish it, and I don't know why.
Man. Zelda's so good. Buying a Switch is worth it enough just to play Breath of the Wild. It's one of the best games I've ever played.
Well, yeah, but, and I'm sure I've already experienced a bunch of the stuff that makes people think it's one of the best games ever made. It's just a matter of me finishing the story. You know what I mean? I've already put a lot of time into it, done a lot of stuff in the game. I just haven't beat the story. Like, because you could literally spend hundreds of hours without being the story in that game.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I love that game. That compared to Mario Odyssey is a bit different because Breath of the Wild was very, it was like a new beginning kind of for Zelda. It was very, we're going to change up the formula. Mario Odyssey just adds in a new gimmick with the hat throwing and possessing things. Besides that, this is another Mario game. And that's kind of why I think Breath of the Wild is a better game, in my opinion. It took a lot of chances, like huge chances, and succeeded in almost everything. There were a few down points of it, but Mario Odyssey, I mean, it's a great game and everything. It's just at times I thought it was too easy, and it just doesn't try to change up the Mario formula enough. But how much can you do with a man that just jumps?
Yeah, this is very true. But I mean, the Super Mario games in general are all really fun, regardless of difficulty. I don't think I've ever played a Mario game that's hard. Yeah. So another game I played is I started The Last of Us on PS4. I've had the remastered version forever, and I decided to download it the other day. And then I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna start it. So I've only played the intro part, which is essentially cutscenes and stuff. I'm on like the first mission still after the first intro. But I mean, the game's really cool. Like, it looks really nice, the remastered version on PS4. And I'm sure it looked nice on PS3 as well. But I mean, that intro to the game just gets you pretty hooked already. It really draws you in.
Does it? I've never played it. I never had a PS3, and it's definitely one of the first games I plan on playing once I finish Kingdom Hearts 1 here any day now. It's really always caught my attention, but then again, I'm always a guy that just loves zombie games. So just give me a zombie game and I'll probably play it.
Yeah, we should really see if we can game share. I don't know if game sharing is a thing on PS4. I think it is. Like,
I don't know.
You know how you could. We should figure that out though, because maybe we can do that. Because I own that game digitally.
Yeah. No, it's definitely on my to-do list. I hear it's great. Never heard anything bad about it. So
yeah,
give it a try. My last game is I've started playing Snipper Clips on Switch. The game originally came out when the Switch first launched, and I never got around to it because I was so focused on Breath of the Wild. But I found a copy at work because they just recently released a physical edition that was supposed to have like all the DLC and everything on it. And started playing it with my daughter, who is 5, and it's awesome. It's really fun. It was great playing with her. I really think that's going to be like the next game me and her just focus on together now, because before all we had really was Minecraft and Lego games.
That
I
game, the Snipper Clips gets difficult because I was playing with my girlfriend and it gets hard with the two of
does
us,
it.
and yeah, and we're both in our 20s, so
All right.
that game
Well,
definitely gets difficult at some point. So you're gonna definitely have some challenges with your daughter, but I mean, I think that's a good bonding game for sure,
yeah, for
regardless of
sure.
who
I
you're
thought it
playing it
was
with.
awesome.
It definitely makes
Yeah,
you think a lot before even attempting to do something.
yeah. We're both very much in the beginning of it still, but it was a lot of fun right at the beginning, and it was simple enough controls that she could catch on really quick.
Yeah, I agree because it's basically like two buttons and then the joystick, right? Because you mainly
Yeah,
use
pretty
to
much.
rotate and move. I
Yeah,
guess you have to cut out, but I mean, you can just guide your way through that.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah, if you want to start reading off some of the news,
All right.
because the first one, I think you should benefit from this if you're in the market at all. I don't know.
The PlayStation VR headset is now going to start at $200. Jacob Kastranex, I'm guessing that's how you say
Yeah,
it, of
I
The
don't know how you
Verge,
say that.
says Sony is putting the PSVR on sale again with discounts that make picking up the PS4's virtual reality headset look a lot more affordable. It's offering discounts on 3 PSVR bundles, the best of which is a $199.99 package that includes Gran Turismo Sport, the PSVR headset, and the PlayStation camera, which is necessary for VR. All 3 bundles will be discounted for 2 weeks, from this Sunday, February 18th to March 3rd. The other 2 packages are more expensive. There's the Doom bundle, which swaps out Gran Turismo for Doom VFR and costs $300. And there's the Skyrim bundle, which includes Skyrim VR and 2 PlayStation Move motion controllers. In addition to the headset and camera, in all cases, you're getting a $50 to $100 discount on the normal bundle price. Yeah, it's still not for me. I'm not a big believer in VR in gaming right now. Any of those that I would like to try would be Doom for sure, because that was one of my more favorite games to come out a couple of years ago, and I loved it. But
I mean,
other
yeah,
than
but Doom VFR isn't really Doom. It's not like how they did the whole
that,
Skyrim game in VR. It's just like levels within Doom, and
yeah,
I heard it's kind of bad
yeah,
from what I read
and
online.
I mean that's pretty much all I hear about every VR experience. It's not a full experience. It's very gimmicky. It's not great.
I mean, I think the problem is because I've played a lot of good VR games as well. The problem is weaning out the good from the bad. Like for every good experience, there's going to be at least 7 to 8 bad ones. So that's
Yeah,
why I think it has such a bad image right now, is because there really aren't that many games out in VR because not many have been developed. But the ones that are out are just getting a bad rap because if it is good, there's going to be 8 others that are equally as bad.
yeah, but
Because
what would you say is good? I've heard Resident Evil.
Resident Evil's
Besides that,
good,
what's good?
a Job Simulator's good,
Okay, Job Simulator.
Sports Bar VR is good.
Never heard of it.
What's the Rec Room is fucking amazing. It's a
Okay.
lot of fun. What's the
All
other
right.
one I
How
was
many
just
of
playing?
those are AAA experiences?
Oh, I never said they were AAA experiences. I just
I'm
said
just
they were really
saying,
good.
on a broader scale, they're not there, and I don't think they ever will be. They're not full game experiences.
I mean, I think that Rec Room is a great game, and it's completely free.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in it, and I'm not going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on it.
I mean, I'm a pretty firm believer in it, but like, do I regret paying what I did at the time? Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
I still don't know if because like even if you buy the $200 bundle here, you still need to buy the Move controllers, which are $100. So essentially, it's still a $300 bundle if you think about it.
Yeah, I was also going to bring that up. They're only including parts of the pieces that you need. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, unless you can find Move controllers for really cheap, which is highly doubtful at this point because of how old they are. I mean, it's still a $300 bundle, which I still don't think is worth it for the PSVR itself.
No.
I think if it was $200 with the Move controllers, then this would be a really good deal.
Yeah, that's just the other thing. It's so expensive. Like, it needs the player base, and it's not getting it with that price tag, and it's already not getting it with the games. So
Yeah,
I
and like this price, like the price point of VR itself is so unfortunate as well, because like the next iteration of VR is going to be essentially, maybe a higher resolution screen, but then the price is just going to go right back up to $500.
yeah, for
And then
sure.
and then the one after that is essentially going to be, with the higher res screen, but it's also going to be like, oh, it's wireless, like no cables connected to it. And then that one's even going to be $500, 10 years from now. So I
Mhm.
mean, no matter what happens, the newest iteration, the latest and greatest is always going to be expensive. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a matter of catering to your audience, I guess. Like you got to do I mean, obviously, I think PSVR has been successful for them because they're the highest selling VR headset out of all of them, and that was announced like a long time ago before like they even started doing all these discounts. So I mean, if they're making their money's worth, then I guess it's worth it. It's just a matter of if developers think it's worth their time and money to make a game.
I think it's a waste of money for everyone involved.
I don't think it's a waste of money at all. It's a completely different experience from just playing a game on a TV.
It's a gimmick. It's as much of a gimmick as motion sensor or motion
You
gaming.
you think all of Wii was a gimmick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think it was that
Oh,
much of a
big
gimmick.
time.
I mean,
That
I
was
no
such a huge gimmick.
no. Granted, I believe that a lot of games for it were gimmicky as fuck. Like having
That was
like in
super gimmicky.
like what was the Zelda game where what was the Wii Zelda game? I can't think of the name.
Skyward Sword,
No, not Skyward Sword. The one that was like kind of half and half. What the one with the wolf? What is that?
Twilight
Yeah,
Princess.
Twilight Princess.
That was also GameCube. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember getting that game on the Wii, and like I don't remember what it was about it, but I remember like in the first hour they're like they want me to do what with this? Like I'm playing Zelda, like I don't I don't want to have to move my hands a certain way to do something.
Yeah. No, I 100% think motion controls are 100% gimmick. Like, it's the one that's actually one of my biggest downsides to Mario Odyssey is that there's certain moves that you can only do
So
if you
yeah,
have the Joy-Cons detached and are
yeah,
doing the
I
motion
completely
sensors.
agree with that because I have a launch Switch and my left Joy-Con has that connectivity problem. And when I got Mario Odyssey that day, I was like, all right, I'm gonna dock it so that my girlfriend can watch me play. And I played for like an hour, and my left stick kept disconnecting. So I'm like, all right, I'll go buy, like a controller. And I bought like one of those $30 Hori pads that you can buy at like Target and stuff. That's like essentially a USB controller for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do like half the moves because I like it doesn't have the motion controls in that controller.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you want to do the motion controls in a controller form, you have to buy their Pro controller, which I wasn't about to go pay $70 for.
Well, even then, it wouldn't be the best way to play. They want you to play that with the Joy-Cons detached. That's how they want you to play it.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I agree with you there. Like there are some games where it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Monster Hunter on Switch would be difficult. Brian Ashcraft at Kotaku says Monster Hunter World is a smash hit, but the game is currently only playable on the PS4 and Xbox One. Wouldn't it be great to play it on a system you could carry around? You know, like the Nintendo. That Capcom says would not be easy. While Monster Hunter debuted on the PlayStation 2, the subsequent portable versions catapulted the series to great success. In a recent Toyo Kaizai interview, Capcom Haruhiro, no more Japanese names, was asked about bringing Monster Hunter World to the Switch. We're aware of the request, Tuji Moto told Toyo Kazai, adding that Capcom has already ported Nintendo 3DS game Monster Hunter XX to the Switch. However, taking into account various conditions, bringing Monster Hunter World now for release is difficult. The reason is that the Switch has different functions from other stationary consoles as well as different players. Each game console has its own characteristic, and it's necessary that we as game makers adapt to that when making a game. This doesn't mean Capcom is ruling out another Monster Hunter for the Switch, even if Sugimoto didn't explicitly say Monster Hunter World. From now on, he added, we're looking at how we can support the Switch with our games, and that also includes Monster Hunter. And okay.
Yeah, sorry, that was kind of a long one. But I put some of that in and then realized it didn't make sense if you didn't have follow-up information. But yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter World, for some reason I assumed that it was coming to Switch before it came out. Granted, I'm not a Monster Hunter fan, so I didn't like look into the game at all. But I assumed it was coming to Switch just because it was always on portable consoles, and I feel like that's where it would be most played. I'd want to say if it came out on there during launch. But I mean, after having played the game, I understand why it didn't and how it probably cannot never come to Switch because of how great the graphics are.
Oh, yeah, but I think if they really wanted to, they could bring this to Switch. Yeah, the graphics are great, but you just tone those down like they did with Doom, and it's fine. The game's only like, what, 13 gigs? There's already bigger games than that on the Switch. They could definitely make it happen if they wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a matter of putting the time and effort in.
Yeah.
I did look up after I read this article. I looked up a comparison of that Monster Hunter. I think they want you to pronounce it Double Cross, but the Monster Hunter XX. Because I didn't even know that was on the Switch. But I looked up a comparison between the 3DS version and the Switch version, and it's like day and night compared to the two. Because obviously the 3DS at its best, still looks pretty pixelated and blurry in a way, kind of like that screen door effect, kind of. But I
Yeah.
mean, it looked really nice on the Switch for compared to the other one. Like I obviously I'm not playing it on my Switch, so I don't know exactly how it looks. But I mean, even if they dumb it down to those specs, I think that it could do really well.
Yeah, I think it could definitely work. Have you been going back and playing any more Monster Hunter World?
I haven't played, since the last time we recorded on Sunday night, but I definitely want to play more of it. I don't know, it hasn't sunk its hooks into me as much as it has some people on my friends list. Like I definitely see why it appeals to a lot of people because I think it's mainly a cooperative experience. Like obviously you could play this game solo, but I feel like it's much more fun to play with friends. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe when I play the game a little more, it'll sink its hooks into me more. But I mean, I'm already like 14, 15 hours into the game. But obviously, this is one of those games that you're supposed to spend hundreds of hours in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. It hasn't caught me yet. I don't know how much more time I'm actually planning on putting into it, but I haven't in a while. So at some point, I probably will. They need to fix up their multiplayer experience, I think.
Yeah, 100%. They need to fix that whole system up.
Because
Like I understand joining somebody's like, world, I guess you could say, to where you can have up to 16 people. But then after that, like trying to join somebody's game is such a shit show.
it is. Yeah, if they get that fixed, I'll definitely give it more of a try. But it's just, I'm with you. I think this game would be a lot better co-op than solo, and I don't really have any want whatsoever to play it solo.
I agree, but I will say that some of the monsters I fought already are pretty cool. But I mean, none of them have been like, like a huge wow to me. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, no, for sure, I agree. The monsters look awesome, and they are cool. Everything I've seen about the game so far looks cool. It's just from the multiplayer aspect and kind of the gameplay aspect itself, it just hasn't caught me.
Yeah, I did get to a story mission where the big monster at the beginning of the game
Yeah,
that you encounter in the cutscenes. I did get to a story mission. It's like one of the first few story missions. I don't know if you've gotten there yet, where you do have to like kind of fight him in a way. And I thought that
I,
that mission was really cool.
that's cool.
But yeah, I think you'll enjoy that mission because it is pretty cool.
All right.
Moving on. U.S. Senator asks ESRB to re-examine loot boxes. Cecilia De Anastasio of Kotaku writes, yesterday, Senator Hassan, I almost said Hanson, a New Hampshire Democrat, sent an open letter to the Entertainment Software Rating Board, ESRB, urging it to review the completeness of the board's ratings process and policies as they relate to loot boxes, and to take into account the potential harm these types of microtransactions may have on children. This comes 4 months after the ESRB said, as first reported by Kotaku, that it does not consider loot boxes to be a type of gambling. Loot boxes, which allow you to spend either real or in-game currency in exchange for randomized rewards, were at the center of an internet firestorm last year, thanks to their controversial implementation in games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Since then, pundits and now even politicians have spoken out about the ethical questions surrounding them. I mean, we've talked about this before, I think, on one of the first few podcasts we've done. But I mean, I think to an extent, loot boxes are kind of gambling, but I think it's all dependent on how they're implemented into the game. You know what I mean? Like, if you can only get a loot box by paying for it, then I think it's definitely gambling. But the way Overwatch does it, where you get in-game currency and you get rewards, I don't consider that gambling because it's only gambling. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I 100% think it's gambling, even in Overwatch. The loot box system as a whole is gambling. You're given a thing. You said, hey, these are in here. You might get it. You might not. You might even get duplicates. Like, that to me is gambling. You're not guaranteed anything or anything worthwhile, but you can spend money. Even if you're 100% free to play on Overwatch and you're just doing it through the level up thing, that's still gambling.
I agree. It's still somewhat a type of gambling, but I think the way Overwatch does it is way better and I mean, it's still gambling, not gonna lie. But it's way less of a gamble than, say, the way Rocket League does it, where you have got to buy a key to open a crate. That's the same way that Counter-Strike does it as well, which I think is just ridiculous.
No, yeah, that is ridiculous. No, out of everyone so far, I think Overwatch does it the best. But yeah, it's still gambling. Star Wars was atrocious last year. Shadow of War is a single player game with it now. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm starting to be okay with governments starting to talk about this, because apparently the video game industry is not going to try and do it themselves right now so far, with like they did with the Mortal Kombat in the violence issue back in the day, where they pretty much fixed it up, making the ESRB. Like, this needs to be taken care of, not just in these big games, but like phone games as well. Like, those are ridiculous how much those are pay to win and gambling and everything.
Oh yeah, I completely agree, but in a sense, it's going to kind of suck in the long run, because I feel like what's going to end up happening is they're going to determine that this is gambling, and then ban having loot boxes that are paid for, but then people are going to have to pay for DLC, which I'm fine by. I didn't mind the DLC structure at all, because I would only buy it if I really enjoyed a game.
Yeah, like, I have no problem with that. If you don't want it, you don't buy it. That's fine. Yeah, that fractures the community up a little bit, but any hardcore gamer that's into a game is going to buy that DLC anyway.
Yeah,
so
I completely agree, but I still know that there are people out there that are expecting loot boxes to become only, like, not paid for by real money, only in game, but they're also expecting like Overwatch to have all these content updates for free, along with new maps for free. But that's just not the case, because I think because Halo 5 kind of set a precedent with that, saying like, all right, all of our DLC is going to be free, all the maps are free, but you can buy all these in-game loot boxes.
And it's a great way to do things if you stick with that. The problem is companies like EA that take advantage of it and completely break the system and make it unfair, and all these phone games that are 100% gambling that can affect children. Like, how kids get a hold of, have their credit card on there, so the kid spends like $100 on coins for some game. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like, you hear about that stuff all the time too, right?
Yeah.
Like Clash of Clans stuff, like, oh, my kid spent all this money, and then like they're complaining to iTunes about it, and iTunes like, it's not our problem. Like, that's not our game.
No. My problem isn't so much with Overwatch, Halo. No, my problem is with these phone games, really, and EA, who really messed up this last year with that stuff.
I honestly think the main the main bad guy here is definitely those phone games, because some of those games are like such like they'll be a ripoff of, just some any game you can get on Xbox, and then they'll just like literally be just leading little kids in to like pay for something on like their iPad or their mom's phone, and that's just like super predatory. So
Yeah,
I think
no,
if anything needs
I
to change,
100% agree.
it definitely needs to change there first. But then I do think that it needs to be brought up in terms of console gaming, and PC gaming as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, big layoffs hit Mafia 3 developer Hangar 13. Jason Schreier of Kotaku writes, Mafia 3 developer Hangar 13 laid off a significant number of staff today, in yet another example of the video game industry's brutal churn. Publisher 2K confirmed the move when reached by Kotaku this afternoon. This is actually today, I believe, as well. 2K can confirm that there have been staff reductions at Hangar 13 in order to ensure that the studio's resources are properly aligned with its long-term development plans, a company spokesperson said in an email. These reductions will not influence 2K's ability to create and deliver its products that are currently in development. We never take these matters lightly and are working with the affected employees to support them and explore potential opportunities throughout our organization. The publisher would not specify how many people had been laid off, although we've heard it was a large proportion of Hangar 13 staff. It's always sad when you see something like this, but honestly, it's to me, at least I don't think it's very surprising because Mafia 3 did pretty poorly compared to, what everybody was expecting it to do, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say it was a failure, but it did underperform. Yeah, this happens all the time, pretty much. Hopefully, these guys can find a new job soon and everything, and most likely they will. I think the video game community is pretty good about reaching out to people that are going through this situation and finding them jobs and finding them new situations. It's unfortunate, but it does happen a lot, especially when a game is like done with production. I mean, are they still Mafia 3? Like, there's just no point for them to keep them around. Like, they have to make cuts somewhere. It's unfortunate, but it's the way things are. It's a chance you take when you become a developer.
Yeah, there's a new story like this like once a month at least of a big,
Yeah, for
a
sure.
big time developer making huge cuts. But I mean, it seems like 2K's trying to help as many people as possible get relocated within the company,
Yeah,
which is,
and
good on them, like for
there's
understanding that.
there's always jobs for talented people and things like this, so they'll definitely have their options. So that's the good thing.
Yeah, I think that the biggest one of late of these layoffs was the one. Uh, what was the name of the company that made Marvel Heroes? I can't remember. Was it Gazillion Games or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was like, I think that was the biggest one just because even the employees had no idea it was coming.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Yep. Uh, yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate, but hopefully they can find new places soon.
Yep, completely agree.
Uh,
You added to the list that the Stardew Valley multiplayer beta is coming in spring.
Yep, not much was said about it, but I saw that the developer for it, I can't remember his name right now, came out and said that he expects it to come out in spring. He did not give a specific release date, and he did not really say how it would work, but he did put up a screenshot of two houses side by side and these signs all over the yards that I guess were for crafting. I haven't played a ton of Stardew Valley, but I have played a little bit, and playing that multiplayer seems like some fun. So I thought that was worthy enough to put it on here with how big that game is.
Yeah, those games have never, like those type of games, I should say, have never really appealed to me. So, I probably won't try this out, but I'll be interested to see what you say because
Yep,
sometimes if there's a game that, I have no interest in, but has, like a really cool cooperative setting, I'll give it a try.
for sure. If they can find a way to make it where like there's not a certain host, like anyone can play on it, kind of like a Minecraft server where you could just get on it whenever and contribute to the farm. I think that would be really awesome. Again, no idea what's going on with it, so who knows.
Yeah, the way you're describing that, like the Minecraft servers, I think would be really cool.
I think
even
that's
though
what
I've never played the
that's
game.
for it.
Because
All right,
because
and then
sorry,
what?
I've always found that Minecraft server thing to be pretty awesome, even though I
It is.
don't play Minecraft.
Yeah. All right, our last news story. Spyro the Dragon Remastered Trilogy is rumored to be coming to PS4 this year. Laura Kate Dale of Kotaku reported, according to multiple sources familiar with the project, Activision is currently working on a Spyro the Dragon Trilogy remaster, which will be announced in March 2018 and release in Q3 of 2018. The trilogy remaster will, much like the highly successful Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, feature new assets, lighting, animations, and cinematics, as well as a remastered soundtrack. It will also feature updates to the save feature, much like occurred in the Crash Remaster, which replaced the original game's password feature with something much more user-friendly. The remaster will include Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon, the first 3 games. And there is the tantalizing promise of some content cut from the original releases of those games. The Spyro Remaster will be announced for PS4 with PS4 Pro support sometime in March 2018 and will be releasing in Q3. One source suggested that September would be the launch month, which would be in line with Spyro the Dragon's 20th anniversary. Are you much of a Spyro fan?
Yeah, I definitely have memories playing a ton of. I think I played a lot of the first one, and I definitely played the other 2, but definitely not as much as I played the first one. But yeah, I like Spyro a lot, so this is pretty exciting for me.
Oh yeah, and it's not really surprising to me at all, given the success of the Crash remaster. This is awesome. Activision pretty much killed Spyro in my eyes when they brought him to Skylanders and changed him up and everything. So hopefully this will bring him back to his glory days. I love the first 3 Spyro games. Ripto's Rage was my favorite, which is the second one. It's a ton of fun. I think they're great games. I was much more into Spyro than I was Crash at the beginning, so this excites me a lot. I doesn't surprise me that it's only coming to PS4. I assume it's much like the Crash thing, where sooner or later it will come to other consoles and PC. But hopefully this succeeds as well as the Crash remaster did. Apparently it's the same company working on it that did the Crash remaster. So
Yeah, that's really good to hear
them.
because they did an amazing job on the Crash Bandicoot remaster.
Yeah, it looks great, and it, for the most part, played great, I thought. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Updating the music for it really will help it. I just hope to God that they kind of stick to the original model for Spyro instead of the Skylanders one, because that will just kill me if it's back to Skylanders Spyro.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of wants me to bring up another topic since we're kind of running short here. What other games would you want to see remastered?
Ooh. Well, I mean, that was probably the biggest one I could think of right now. Besides that, you're talking like from that era, from the 90s.
I mean, like any era, really. Like I'd say PlayStation, PS1, original Xbox era, maybe even PS2. Because like for me, I feel like it'd be really cool for them to remaster Jet Set Radio Future.
I never played Jet Set Radio, but I hear a lot of good things about it. So yeah, that would be cool. I also hear a lot of talk about Crazy Taxi. I mean,
the thing is I only want Crazy Taxi to come back if they can get all the same licensing for the music.
Yeah, for sure. It I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough call. I mean, most of the games I can think of have already been remade in some way. Like Super Mario 64 was remade on the DS. If they had a way to like play that all in Super Mario Odyssey, I'd probably be playing Mario Odyssey right now. That's like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just ported that 3DS port to Switch, but who knows what's coming with this the whole virtual console stuff that people keep asking for.
Yeah.
But I mean the future will tell for that. But
more specifically, I feel like pretty much anything that has enough of a player fan base is going to get remastered if it hasn't already. And I feel like so far we've gotten most of those. I mean, a lot of remasters have been from the last generation of games. So I don't know, you could maybe maybe Microsoft gets Rare to remake Goldeneye and make it.
That would be insane, but it would probably also ruin everybody's childhoods.
It might, but it might also not, because I mean it's Rare, and then also if you go back and play GoldenEye right now, it's bad. It's hard to play that. That game does not age at all. So if they can like redo it so that it plays on the controls of today, I think that would be really awesome. Other than that, I mean, I can only think of games that are like still going strong now, like remake the original Smash Brothers, remake Mario Kart 64. I really don't feel that many, if any, Super Nintendo games need a remaster.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I mean, like, if you look at, say, Metroid games and you look at Axiom Verge, I mean, they play the same essentially, right?
Yeah.
And one was made like 30 years, 40 years after.
Yeah. No, I don't feel like that generation really needs any remasters, but they could. I mean, they could always do the like 3D and a 2D environment thing that some people love doing nowadays, but they just don't necessarily need it, in my opinion.
There's another one that we're missing, which is, the Final Fantasy VII remaster or remake, I guess, that was announced, feels like 5 years ago, and we haven't heard anything about since.
Square, I think, was saying that this would be a good year for Final Fantasy, so there's a chance that we'll at least get like a release date for that. Who knows though? But
I don't think we're getting a release date for it this year. I feel like it's going to be like a coming fall 2019. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah. Well, they also said in the past that it's going to be a episode release thing. They're not releasing the whole thing at once. So
yeah, I remember them saying that, which is very interesting. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I mean, I played Final Fantasy VII when I was younger, so I'll be excited to, at least try it out and see what they're doing with it. Because I feel like that's one that they could easily mess up in the eyes of fans, just because I feel like the fans, there's a lot of Final Fantasy VII fans out there, and a lot of the fans could easily be let down just by the way that they do things. Because they've hyped this remake up so much in their heads that it could just, not live up to their expectations.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest weapons for us, is our own minds. We can always just overhype something so much, even though nothing has been said for a while on it. So who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, with that remaster talk, I think it's time to end episode 28 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, you can get our podcast on most podcast platforms on Monday mornings, as well as on YouTube, where you can watch us record the show live, much like we're doing right now, on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. As always, I'm Joel Campos. You can find me on YouTube at Almost Random, which is where the podcast is posted. On Twitter at Campos63. You can see some of my writing at camposcash.wordpress.com, as well as thatvideogameblog.com, which is where I write most of my game reviews, because they're the ones who provide me with codes. So yeah, definitely check out that video game blog, because me and John both have writing on both. John, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I am at RevXShadows. On YouTube, I am also RevXShadows. I will hopefully be putting up some more videos here soon. Other than that, I recently made a Facebook page for the podcast, so if you want, definitely check that out. Search Pixel Street Podcast on Facebook, and we should pull up. We'll definitely be posting when we're recording, and also maybe we'll start putting up some polls or some questions for people, seeing what anyone wants to do. Joel, if you wouldn't mind like putting in a link in the description for that, that'd be awesome. I mean, other than that, yeah, check out that video game blog. They're awesome. It's not just me and Joel, it's people from all around the world doing some really awesome stuff with video games, and very smart people, interesting topics to look at.
Yeah, other than that, I guess leave a comment in the comments below and let us know what the remastered you would want to see most is, and if you're looking forward to any of the ones that have been announced. Like, I guess Spyro technically hasn't been announced, but it's, a strong rumor, I'd say. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, till next time.